back to my channel. So for today's video, I want to share 5 things that I wish I knew before starting nursing school. And these are in no particular order, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with the first one, which is don't let anybody discourage you from applying to nursing school. And I say this because this is kind of what happened with me. So I'm sure you've all heard that you need straight A's to get into nursing school. If you have a C, don't even bother thinking of applying. And you know, it's just, you hear all these like super high standards of getting into nursing school. And for me, in my case, I had a C in anatomy, and just with that, a lot of people were like, oh, you're not gonna make it, don't even bother. And I still applied. I'm like, you know what, I'm still gonna try at least, you know, it doesn't hurt to try. And at least then for my application process, GPA is not the only thing that they look for. Maybe your school might be a little bit different, but in my school, it wasn't just GPA. They looked at other things too, like the TEAS exam. It was based on the point system, and so you got extra points for like other things, like if you had another degree, if you spoke a different language, if you worked in the healthcare field, if you had a healthcare license, and the other thing like an LVN, CNA, things like that. So there's all these other things that helped me to boost up my application, and that's how I got in. So even though I had a C, I was able to get in, you know. So that's why I say that, you know, just apply. Don't let anyone discourage you. Now if you have like a couple of C's, then I would rethink that. Oh, and another thing, at least in my school, we were not allowed to like retake any of our major science courses like micro anatomy and physiology. Those we could not, at least back then. I think now you can. They become a little bit more lenient, but it was like your first try and then that was it. So if you have the chance that you are able to retake it, retake the course, you know. It'll help boost up your chances of getting in. But just don't give up and go ahead and apply. Alright, so the second one is that the grading scale and the test format is totally different from what you're used to in your prereqs. So what I mean by that is, I'm sure you've heard the NCLEX style questions, where before, you know, when you're taking on your prereqs, you're used to A, B, C, D, and there's only one correct answer, and then that's it. But in nursing school, you have A, B, C, D. All of them are correct, but which one is the most correct and which one is not going to kill your patient first? So yeah, it's like a different learning style. And I know when I took my first nursing exam, I failed it, you know. I had to remediate for that one, which is okay, you know. Also the grading format is different. So before, in all your prereqs, I'm sure a 70% 70 to a 79 would be a C, correct? And if you got a 70%, you got a C, you passed the class, right? In nursing school, it's totally different. And I'm sure some schools have something similar. For me, we had to have an average of a 75% in our exams, and then a 75% overall in other things like projects, essays, and things like that. And they all had to average out to be 75% or higher. If we had it lower, then we would fail. So that's like a lot of pressure. And I know other schools, they have it higher where it's like 80%. So nursing school is very, very intense. And I did not know about that. So I wish I knew that before starting nursing school, so I can like mentally prepare myself. Because I know when we had like our boot camp and they were telling us all this information, I was just like, scary. And I'm sure their goal was to scare us, and yep, achieved. Another tip that I can give with this NCLEX style questions is to take as many NCLEX style questions as you possibly can, because this way you'll be more familiar with the test style question and you'll be exposed to more of the topics that they're asking, and you'll be more comfortable. So to get around that, just take as many NCLEX style questions. And there's like a whole bunch of books. There's the Saunders book. Whatever your school uses, maybe you use ATI, maybe you use Kaplan. Just use all those resources to help you out. Now my third one is that the stress level in nursing school is totally different from what you're used to before. you know, we all get stressed when it comes to our exams, when it comes to like the prereqs. But once you go into nursing school, it's totally different. It's like a different kind of stress level. For me, I developed a twitching eye. So whenever exam came around, I always had this twitching eye. And now that I finished with nursing school, it's gone away. I haven't had it since, but that's just something that I developed during nursing school. And then I know some people develop like their first ever like panic attack. They never had it before, and then suddenly, you know, the stress of nursing school gets too much and then they have a panic attack. So, you know, there's different levels of it, however you deal with stress, but just be prepared. Like, have your self-care Sunday, have somewhere in there so you can like de-stress and compose yourself, because there's just so many things that you go through during nursing school. Now my fourth one is that, so this is now towards like the clinical side of nursing school, and even when you like go out and like start working on your own in the hospital, at least, patients can be violent. I did not know that, and I first knew about this when I was working as a CNA in the hospital. I'll tell you my story. So I was with this patient, and he was an older man, definitely above 70, and he punched me in my arm, and I was like so shocked at what had happened that I honestly, you know, I broke down. I cried because I was like, what is this? Like, to be honest, he didn't even hit me that hard, but like just the fact that that happened, I was like, what the heck? And so, and when you're in nursing school, they kind of like try to like protect you and not really expose you to that. Like, I'm sure your clinical instructors would say, oh, if you have this situation, just like let the real nurses deal with it, and you kind of just like back away so you can protect yourself. But when you're actually working as a nurse, you're going to be encountering these patients, because these like disease processes can like alter your mental status, and the things that you do kind of doesn't always reflect you. So you'll do things that you might not be aware of it. So patients can get agitated, they can get combative, and I did not know that this happened in the hospital setting, and it was like a big shock for me. So just be prepared, even if you might not see this in your clinical setting. When you go out into the workforce and you start working in the hospital, patients can get combative, and it's just something that happens, and we just have to deal with it, honestly, sadly. But yeah, that's just an eye-opener for me. And my fifth one is that you do not have to work in the hospital setting. Meaning, you know, there's so many things besides bedside nursing, meaning like in the hospital. And I think third semester is when I started to explore this. I'm like, what is there besides hospital nursing? And, you know, I found like a whole bunch of different things that I honestly was surprised. I was like, wow, I can be doing this, I can do that, wow. And that's like the beauty of nursing, is that you can do a lot of things with nursing. So you can do forensic nursing, you can be in the military, you can be a school nurse, you can be working in a medical spa, you know, giving Botox, lasers, just like, you know, in the dermatology field. You can be working in a family practice, like, you know, if you have like a regular doctor's appointment, they have RNs there too. There's just so many things. Like, you can work in a prison. There's like so many things that you could be doing besides hospital nursing. And now that like I finished school and there's so many options out there, I'm like, wow. Because like when you go into school and you do your clinicals, most of the time you're doing it in the hospital setting, and what the school is teaching you is like med-surg. That's like your foundation. So that's essentially what they're preparing you for, is like the med-surg for the NCLEX for the hospital. But there's so many other things that you can do besides hospital. So if you're going to nursing school and you're like, I'm not really sure if this is for me, don't worry. I'm sure a lot of people have had that situations, you know, including me. So, you know, research in your area, outpatient nursing, and see what you'll find. And I'm sure there'll be something for you. Alright, so that's my 5 things that I wish before starting nursing school. I wish I knew before starting nursing school. If you have any other things, like let's say that you finished nursing school and you want to share in the comments below, leave them so we can all gather this information as well. And don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!